All right, it's a big day for us as parents of a new cadet at West Point. The cadets have been out in the field for the last 5 days and are doing I think my wife told me it's a 12-mile march back in with their rucks and everything. And she's been monitoring the weather there in the West Point area where they're marching back. And it's been like rain all night. I think they started like 4 in the morning or something. Again, the details I get from my wife, who's all over the parent boards and everything. And the very nice thing about West Point is they do a great job with their social media team. And lots of reasons, obviously, for it. But selfishly, as a parent, this is the only way that we get to see our kids and what they're up to and what they're doing, especially for their first summer. We dropped my oldest off there over 6 weeks ago for cadet basic training. And the only access we've had to him have been corresponding with him through snail mail, regular letters, except for when they go out in the field, I think, then he doesn't have access to it. Well, he didn't have access to it for a few weeks because he had lost his key out in the field or something. And so all the letters, the whole plan my wife had set up to where we're all writing him every day, friends, family, he wasn't getting them for weeks. And when we finally, I think he was able to call us halfway through. They had like an ice cream social where they had some sponsors take in the cadets, which was nice. And then they got their phones back for like half a day. And so they were able to call home, call their friends, check emails, all that good stuff. And when he told us that he had lost his key out in the field and he had to put in a request to his cadre, which is the senior leader for their group. And then something they had to change leaders or something. So, I mean, we were so bummed out because we were like doing all we could to write him letters every day. So he would always have something to open. And then knowing that he wasn't even getting any of the letters, but he finally they got a new cadre, a new leader, got it all taken care of for him, got a new key, got something fixed or something. So he got all his letters a couple weeks ago. So he's been kind of going through those. And then last week, at the end of last week, today's Monday, right? So at some point at the end of last week, they went on this out in the field 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. I don't know. I'm not the one that's I'm not the parent that's on the boards. I get the information through my wife, either throughout the day or at the end of the day around the dinner table. Hey, what's our son up to? So I think they've been out in the field for like 5 days or something. And then today is the big march back. They've got the rucks on. And my wife's been keeping up with the weather there. And this class of 2027 of West Point, it's the rain class. When we dropped him off over 6 weeks ago, and they had the big was it R Day, where you drop your kid off, you go into the auditorium, there's 30 of you at a time or something, 50 at a time, and they do like a 3-minute speech, and they said, okay, you've got 60 seconds with your cadet to say goodbye, and then that's it. They go out the doors and all you hear is yelling, and that's it. You don't see your kid again. So we're super excited to go see him this week. I think we leave on Thursday. And so when we found out that the big march back, and there's family, there's community members, a ton of them are out there right now cheering the cadets on. I think if you graduated from West Point and you wanted to march back or march back with your kid as a former West Point graduate, you can march back with them. the 12, 13 miles that they're marching back. And I think that's really cool. And for all the people in the community that are lining the streets and cheering these cadets on. Oh, they need it. But they're coming back. I was telling my wife, I was like, the amount of weight that they're already carrying in their rucks after being out for however many days they've been out in the field, and then they're marching back in the rain. How much weight does that add? I think the rucks are at least somewhat waterproof or water resistant, but you're getting wet. So does it? It's not. I don't think it's going to double the weight, but it's enough extra weight, and you're wet, and you feel gross. The people that have been there, done this before, they say you can smell the cadets before you see them. So I can only imagine. I wish I was there. We just can't be there right now, but we'll be there in a few days. So right now, I have the West Point social media up on YouTube, which they're streaming it live. It was supposed to go live a few minutes ago, so I'm waiting for that to kind of update. And do I think I'm going to see my kid's face? No, but I just want to see them collectively. It'd be cool if I did. I'm just going to do a quick refresh, and yeah, nothing's been set there. But this class of 2027, I said, is kind of like the rain class or whatever. So our day when we dropped them off, 60 seconds, say goodbye. And then as parents, the big thing for the parents that day is later on, you're supposed to see them march out and take their like the oath ceremony out on the plane. I think it's called the plane. And that's where you get kind of closure for leaving them, right? It was a torrential downpour. And let me see if I've got a video of all of the parents. We're waiting as we see this gigantic storm. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can do this right here. We're going to remove that screen, and I'm going to add a different. I took two videos. Let's see if I can do this right. It's been a while since we've done a live stream and a live show. And we're going to stop that old screen. We're going to share a new screen. Window. Okay, so here we go. So this is one of the videos. Now, mind you, the parents, everything that we have done to get our kids there and everything the kids have done to get there, and you just saw them earlier that day. And there's some of the cadets. I think some of them were the senior cadets down there, the leaders. And we're standing on the bleachers because we want to see this parade. We want to see all, I think, 8 companies come out and take their oath before we head home. And we're watching the weather, and it doesn't look good. I mean, do you see? I don't know if you guys are getting the audio of that. The wind is kicking up, and this massive rainstorm minutes before the cadets are supposed to come out. And you notice what rational adults, right? Parents sitting on metal bleachers as a gigantic thunderstorm comes up and over West Point for our day. And what you don't see in the video is lightning everywhere. So rational adult parents that know better And we are so like, we want to see we're gonna be there, and we're gonna take our chances because we want to see our kids come out. And lightning, and all of us parents are just kind of looking like, are we really sitting up on metal bleachers? It rolled in, and you're just seeing like we could all die as parents waiting, soaking wet, holding out hope. And then in the back of your head, you're like, they should probably call it and just say it's canceled, but nobody wanted to do that. I know West Point didn't want to do that. I know the parents didn't, but they finally, just out of safety and because of us parents, that we were going to be on metal bleachers no matter what, they called it. And my wife and I were lucky enough to, get on a bus to take us back to our car. Again, soaking wet. I had my entire camera gear with me. And like, as a photographer, I've got a nice bag, it's waterproof and everything, but still, when you're in a torrential downpour, it doesn't matter what kind of a bag, how good of a bag you have. Everything's going to get wet. Luckily for me, I don't think there was any damage to any of my stuff. But this was the last video that I took, and I was ready to record the entire ceremony. And everything started coming down, and I was like, okay, let's get this packed up. So then I had to go find my wife was standing in line at the food truck waiting for her food for like 40 minutes. And then everybody was getting, it didn't matter if you had a raincoat on, an umbrella, nothing. Everything got wet, and it rained for a good hour and a half. So they canceled it. You heard it over the intercom barely. And uh it was miserable. Not only for the parents that had to walk uphill. I don't know if you guys have ever been to West Point and this location, and then where you had to park by the football field. You have to walk almost vertically uphill for a stone's throw. It's probably what, half a mile. I'm not good with distance, but when you're walking uphill and you're winding around, that's a huge walk for us older parents, and much less just the walk uphill in a torrential downpour. I wish you could see the lightning. So that was our last time there at West Point. We came home, and we flew home. So we flew out there, flew back. But this time, this Thursday, we are going to drive out there. And then I think we get him for 12 hours, or I'm not sure. I think he gets to stay with us that night, Friday night, Saturday night. We get him for like, he can hang out at the Airbnb. We're going to make him some food, and he's going to just relax. And then he has to get back, I think, the next day. I'm not quite sure our schedule, but here, we'll just show you one more time. I'm going to show you this video one more time, and then I'll go back to the March back video, which the live hasn't started yet. It's showing that there's 1,100 people waiting on the live to start. But so this is how we ended. That is how we ended. So I'm going to put back the live screen from West Point. Actually, I'm going to put up a different. Let's look at some of the. I want to show you guys something. This is just some of the stuff that, and again, West Point, the social media team does a fantastic job, and they put out these little snippets throughout the summer of the different classes too. So it's not just the plebes, the new cadets. But here's one of the videos.
Let's go. Let's go.
7. So this is my son's class. This is them. He's not in the video. This is like, oh, my wife and I were like, we just want to know what they're doing. And I don't know if you guys are watching this live here, can you hear the audio from the video or not? Or are you just seeing the video that I'm putting up? You can let me know in the comments. And in all these videos, we see like the young men and women, they're smiling, having a good time. And I'm like, is that what's really going on or not? I'm not sure. But look, I think so many of these young men and women, this is what they want to do. I mean, it's just so cool. I'm so excited that they all get to do this. It's hard, for sure. Very hard. Let's see if there's another one. Oh, where's the one with the here's one of the R Day. And again, I'm keeping an eye on the live, the March back. They haven't gone live yet. Here's the one of our day.
Ladies and gentlemen, cadet candidates, you know how
this is the day that we were there. You get to the 60 seconds to say goodbye. Rough. This is so tough.
I'm pretty nervous. It's hitting me slowly but surely.
I'm so nervous and I'm excited at the same time, but more excited than nervous.
Along with me here, can you hear the video or not?
Gotta get through it.
I just need somebody just to confirm if you guys can
mental
hear that or not.
pressure and stress, but I'm very excited to see how it actually is on the other side.
Oh, Jeff, thank you so much.
Let's go! Why are you making us wait? Let's go!
Alice, thank you. I appreciate you guys letting me know you guys can hear it. This is all the stuff that they were preparing for our day to come out on the plane, to do their oath ceremony for the parents to see, and we didn't get to see it because of the storms. There's the rain. I mean, West Point does a fantastic job with the social media. Jeff here, I can hear everything, dude. You're good. They're really smiling. I understand there is some propaganda, but real smiles, dude. These cadets are being trained to be leaders, not slaves. Yeah, I mean, of course, West Point wants them looking like they're having a good time or whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, cadet candidates,
But
you know how my
let me pause that for a sec. Where's the one that I just posted on my podcast page? And there's so many videos, but it's not of our class. Where's the one where they're in the House of Tears? Water Confidence, Summer Leaders, FTX, West Point R Day, Rock Back, which was an R 2027 class. Boy, I don't see that one. It's not that one. Again, I'm keeping an eye on the other screen for the live. They haven't gone live yet. But yeah, I mean, can you just imagine? Like, look. So this isn't. This is a current video, not of the 2027 class. It's more of the older kids, or kids, young men and women.
Broadside fire! Hit it! Hit it!
It's so funny because I on the podcast I did a clip earlier this week, and if you guys don't mind, I mean, if you want to follow along with a new West Point parent, I appreciate if you guys would want to follow along here. You can go on YouTube, Tossing Salad Podcast, or either on TikTok or Instagram, Tossing Salad Podcast as well. I just make a few clips here and there, but it's like being a new parent of a West Point cadet. But it's just crazy that you're looking to see what your kid is doing. And the last West Point video I just made a couple days ago, I was like, I can't imagine when I see my oldest this week. And he's gonna be like, well, Dad, what have you been up to this summer? And I'll be like, oh, son, I learned how to make Spam musubi, a Hawaiian delicacy using fried Spam sushi rice wrapped in a seaweed paper, which has oddly taken off on my my one TikTok channel. And then I'll be like, son, what have you done? And then in the video, I showed the West Point clip of them in the House of Tears, where they do chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, they go in this shed house with their gas mask and everything. And I'm like, he's doing this stuff. And I'm learning how to make Spam musubi. I love it. Elisa said she can hear it. Jeff, yeah, the weather was insane this year. It has been insane. And just out of curiosity, Jeff, Alicia, anybody else that's watching, are you guys parents? Are you guys former West Point graduates? Let me know in the comments here. Sylvia Brewster, looking at the tube site, and it shows program starting at 2:30 p.m. Please check out. Thanks for doing this for us. No, because it says it's supposed, because they started out in the field. They started the march back early this morning, and they're due around this time, unless something has changed. Again, I'm forwarded the information from my wife to be like, okay, the YouTube channel, it's saying 9:30 a.m. and it is now, it's 10 o'clock. So my wife's in she's in an online meeting right now, which she was trying to get out of because she just wants to sit in front of the TV as well. But let's go back to share screen. Hold just a sec. So this is the link that they sent us. Oops. Hold on. There we go. That's the link that they sent us. West Point class of 2027 march back, 9:30 a.m. It's possible, the way that this weather has been going this year for this class, that they're a little slow getting to their endpoint. Totally understand. Or I can totally see the social media team being like, the electronics got all wet and drenched. Jeff, yep, parent, class of 2027 E3, awesome. My son's F1. And look, you guys, I'm coming at this with zero experience. My son is doing this with zero background within our family. This is what he came to us and said I wanted to do, which is a funny story because I've told this several times. I remember exactly where my wife and I where we were, in our bedroom, / bathroom area. And we're like, hey, you've got a year. What are you wanting to do? Because you're not going to be playing in the NHL. He's a big hockey kid. What's your plan? And he was like, I want to try to get into West Point. And I'm like, I love you're aiming high, son. I love it. What's your second and third choice of what you want to do? Because I'm going to be honest with all of you here. Craig Ryan, grandparents, awesome. David Onderlin, hurry up and wait. Typical. Yeah, exactly, David. Diane, hey, my granddaughter is F1 as well. Oh, awesome, Diane. But when he came to us with, I want to do West Point, this is last summer. And this is prior to him getting into the leadership. Like last summer, they had like a summer leadership group that you can try to apply to get into. And he got into it. And even after that, I would lean over my wife. I was like, I mean, a bunch of these, just because you made this, I was like, there's no way he's getting in. We don't have family connections. My grandfather served in World War II. But other than that, we have zero connections. We're the least connected family. And I was like, he can apply all he wants. And he's got good grades. But guess what? All of these kids, I keep referring to them as kids. I think I can do that, right? As a parent, young men and women, but they're still kids. I'm like, son, you may be doing great in school, great in hockey, but that's what all these kids are great at. You're not just competing with kids out of our area of St. Louis. You're competing against all of St. Louis, all of Missouri, all of the 50 states, and then some allied countries, right? So I said, I love that you're aiming high. And then I glance over to the wife. I'm like, okay, what's his second and third choice? And then he was like, well, his big thing is he wanted to do something physically and mentally challenging. And so he applied to ROTC at several places. He did Citadel accepted. And then it was one of those things, again, we're learning as we go. We're like, well, he got accepted into Citadel early on last fall, but we had to hold off on it because you're waiting on West Point. And so we're thinking everything my wife learned was that more than likely, if he was going to get in, which again, I gave him like, I feel like such a shitty parent, a shitty dad. I've said 0% chance, but I guess in the back of my head, maybe there was a 0.5% chance that I gave him. But I was like, well, you got to hold off on the Citadel. But it was cool getting the thing in the mail saying, hey, we want you. And then he got accepted. What was the ROTC he got accepted into? And I'm like, okay, well, good. We have backup plans. He wants to go military. Okay, good, fine. No pressure from us. This is all him. Let me see here. Diane, your story sounds so familiar. I thought we were the least connected to the military. My grandfather fought in World War I, but that's about it. Kara, my daughter is D2 class of 2025, squad leader. Awesome. She told me earlier this morning that March back would be interesting. They might just be a bit behind. Janice, is it Janice or Janice? Janice. I thought my nephew wouldn't get in either. Yeah, and it's not because we're, excuse me. It's not because we are, someone said it just started. You guys are seeing me kind of glance off to the left. My screen is on the left, but I guess I'm seeing the same screen you are up here. Janice is saying my nephew announced he was going in 8th grade. Yeah, I see that and I'm like, that's crazy. How do they know? I'm 48 and trying to explain to my oldest here and my youngest, who is 16, he'll be 17 here shortly. I'm like, how are they supposed to know what they want to do? What path they want to go down? I'm 48 and I've changed my path so many times. I was going to be a teacher. And then I forget how many different things I've changed. And I was like talked into just doing business. Do business management. That's a safe thing. Get your business degree. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I did the business thing, got the typical job, which that's what you do. You graduate and you go out in the workforce and you work most of your life and then you die. But I was fortunate enough after about 9 years of being in corporate America, let's say, that we were fortunate as a family to where I can be like, I think I want to start my own photography company. And that's the route I went. And to this day, I have my own photography business, which, right now I'm like, I'm kind of bored with that. I want a different challenge. And then here we are doing social media stuff. It's crazy. But anyways, if you're coming on late here in the live, there's like 90 of you, which is crazy. I don't think I've ever had this many people in a live here on the Tossing Salad podcast. We're waiting for the march back for the class of 2027. The young men and women who have been out there on the field. Now, for my parents out here in the comment section, have they been out in the field for 5 days? Is that right? Janice, the odds are crazy. These West Point kids are hyper-focused. It's weird how they all are. You're absolutely right, Janice. So that's a great point. I'm glad we get to talk about this while we're kind of waiting for them to go live. In what is probably rain all morning. That the kids that go here, the young men and women that go here, when we were there for our day, and you're looking at the type of candidates that West Point goes after. Again, I mean, how hard it is to get into West Point. And you're looking as like, they're all phenomenal athletes, but different athletes, right? Like physically, when I say athletes, like we're talking, you've got like my son's a hockey player, you got football players. I think there were some swimmers. There's a tennis player from St. Louis that I know of. Just kids that excel physically. And then on top of that, they're all like razor sharp kids. And the recruitment that West Point, they're like, we want a certain type. And you're there for our day as a parent, and you're looking around, you're like, all these kids are exceptional people. It's crazy, the competition. Jeff is saying it started. I'm good. Let me hit the refresh. Oh, there it is. I appreciate it. Okay, let me see here. So, boy. How are they looking, you guys? Dennis, thank you for letting me know. Maria, thank you. I guess I just had to hit the refresh. Look at this. They don't look soaking wet. It doesn't look like it's raining, I don't think. Video quality is okay. Hey, I am not complaining. Again, coming as a hockey dad to where, and I don't know like what company is what. I want to see my kid, but seeing them collectively is pretty damn cool. Not as many smiles though, right? Jeff is saying this is Bravo. Okay, cool. Jeff, I appreciate you keeping us posted there. Can you tell that because somebody's filling you in, or like the banners that are coming through? I don't know any of it. Has anybody seen anybody smile yet? Echo and Alpha already passed. You guys, this is really cool. Echo was Honor Company. They won Beast Award, so they were first, and is Alpha to India in order. Ah, okay. Thank you, Jeff. And did anybody say how long they were out in the field right before this? Was it 5 days? Jeff said 5 days. Okay. You got Delta. They aren't allowed to smile here. Oh, there's one with a smile, though. There's a few closer to the camera that are giving the smile. So I'm looking for F. Is that Foxtrot maybe or something? Again, I don't know the lingo. These were our kids 6-7 weeks ago. They might get smoked. They are supposed to have warrior face in front of the superintendent. And I don't know if you guys can hear on my stream here. If you're listening to the main stream, you can hear like the cheering. And I think I can hear like drums or something, some chanting. My mind is still blown that my kid is here. And then this is India last company. That last one was India. And this is this their 50-year class or a 50-year like 1977? The OGs. Man, I'm telling you, Jeff knows his stuff. Jeff, I appreciate it. You and my wife field so many questions from me. Jeez. Heather Van Booskirk, at this location, do we know about how many miles are left? Jeff? I mean, is this the end? Or do they go in formation on the plane or something, and then they are dismissed? High fives. I mean, how cool, again, from a parent's point of view, that West Point does this for us. And I know on all the parent boards and the mom boards, I don't know if it's the upper, if it's the leadership, the upper class, or what, that you're seeing, and then that's it. Wow. So there you have it. I mean, that was super cool. Ellen, so fun to watch together virtually. I honestly, I thought I was going to do this kind of by myself. Usually when I go live on YouTube, not a lot of people are around. But this right here was fun to do with all of you, especially ones that have sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, grandkids there. Alice Clary, now they get their phones back. Oh boy. I wonder how many messages from my wife my son's going to end up with. Diane, wow, that was too quick. From a parent point of view, that was quick. I'm sure for all of them that just did this march back, it wasn't quick enough. Like I guess they want to go take a shower and then, like, I don't know what else they have for the rest of the day. Like, are they dismissed for a while to go sleep or relax or get something to eat? As a parent, this is what you think about. Heather Van Buskirk, very excited for all these cadets. Well done. Absolutely. Jeff, the beast is officially slain, or is it slayed? If you have a kid in there, they just accomplished something special. You got that. You got that right. That was cool. And now a whole different relationship with your kid that you haven't talked to in, like, he has, being in travel hockey and stuff, like the last few years, we're used to him being on the bus and being gone for a lot of weekends, but you always had connection to them through their phones or whatever. And then they're always back, they may be gone for 4 days for a tournament or something, but not for 6 to 7 weeks to where it's just like all you can do is just write letters. But I will say, picking up the whole letter writing thing was pretty cool. I didn't handwrite my letters because there's no way anybody could read those. I don't handwrite anything anymore. But I typed them out. My wife handwrote hers. She still has great penmanship. But it was fun, kind of just typing out just minutia. There's a word for you. Minutia of what's going on at the house. The most boring stuff. And trying to keep my kid up to date on, he's a big Messi fan. So I had to talk about Inter Miami, the MLS, and Messi. And even on one where Messi, I don't know if you guys remember his first game, the free kick where he scored. I'm like, oh, my kid missed it. So what I did was I printed out on my shitty printer. Really, my printer sucks. A screen cap of Messi's goal, and then I sent that in another letter to him. And then I'm looking back, I'm like, well, he didn't even get to see that for a few weeks because he didn't have his key to his mailbox because he had lost it. Let's see here. I'm going to catch up on comments here. So Jeff, next up, reorganization week. I think that's what reorg means. They start moving into the new barracks and prepare for school year. Jeff, you're putting me to shame, man. You know all this stuff. That's awesome. Kara, earn not given 2027. Speaking of, do we know the 2027 class? Like don't they come up with like a motto or a banner or something? Sandra, I'm a grandma and I love it. That's awesome. You get to see that, Sandra. So proud of these young people. Enjoyed watching with everyone. It's a little more fun that 60 of us could kind of do this together virtually. Whether you're just watching it on this stream here or you had it up on yours and then you were kind of joining in, listening here. But we're August 2023, and I still can't I still can't believe this. So just to finish up my story at the very beginning, when I'm still trying to tell my son and my wife, I'm like, okay, let's have the backup number 2 and number 3 plan. And then y- and then we're like, okay, if he does get accepted, we're probably not going to know until spring of 2023. That's when it's like, and this is where I was like, okay, if there was even a chance that he would be able to get in, it would be after like people either turn them down, and then they would have some spots open up. I was like, that's the 0.5% chance I gave him. And it was October. I'll have to go back. October of last year, 5:30 in the morning, my wife comes into the bedroom, and I'm thinking somebody has broken into our house or medical emergency. Something was not, you know how you wake out, you get up out of a deep sleep and she's kind of crying or something. I'm like, oh my God, her parents died or something. My mom died. The dog, she found the dog dead or something. Something. You wake up and you don't know. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I think he got in. I think he got in what? What are you talking about? It, his portal. It shows that he was accepted or something. I'm like, what? So I stumble out of bed and I was like, pull your laptop up. Let me see. And we're staring at it. And I'm like, this in your head, again, it's 5:30 in the morning. And he had left already for the morning because they were leaving for a tournament. So he was up at the home rink. They were getting ready to get on their buses. They had like a practice. They scheduled a practice before they left in the morning. Don't get me started in with the hockey life that we lived. And so when we verified, triple checked that he was accepted last fall, we were like, we can't keep this until he gets back, and it doesn't seem right to tell him over the phone or something. And so we both looked at the clock. We're like, can we race up to the rink before the bus leaves and catch him? And just as we were thinking that, I don't even know how many pieces of clothing we had on. We jumped. She brought her laptop. We jumped in the car, and I'm doing probably 65 up a road that's like 40 miles an hour up to our home rink. And the kids were coming out of the locker room after the early morning practice to get on the bus to go out of town for the tournament. And we come right into the parking lot. We don't even park in the right park. I mean, like we just stopped the car by the bus. And the wife gets her laptop out and she pulls up the portal. You know, the parents, you guys all know about the portal and refreshing and checking it every single day. And we ask a few of his teammates, where is he? Where is he? And then he comes out and he's looking at us. And I know my son, and he's looking at, my wife is kind of half holding it together, looking emotional. He's probably thinking, oh my God, which grandparent is dead? Which dog died? What did the house blow up? Something happened to his brother. Because there's no reason why he's coming out of the locker room on the bus at 6 a.m. and seeing us there to see him off. Because we haven't done that in like 5 years. Or a few years, not 5 years. Since he had been driving, he goes where he needs to go. So he comes up to us and my wife just turns the laptop around. And then it was cool. And he was like, oh, cool. Just like that. And I'm kind of curious, like most of the other cadets, when they found out, are they like shocked, surprised? You guys fill me in if you guys are still here and listening in the comments. I'm going to catch up on the comments here. Let me know what your kids or your cadet did when they found out. But mine was like, oh, that was cool. I got to get on the bus. And my wife and I were like, hey, all right, there you go. Let's see here. Sandra. So proud of these young people. Enjoyed watching them, Jeff. The motto is earn, not given. Okay. Jeff, I knew nothing when this started. My research is the way of staying close to my son. I want to understand what he is going through, even if I can't speak with him. Ellen Dahl agreed, Jeff. Couldn't sleep last night, so went on YouTube. Hell Ride, trying to watch all the West Point prior videos just to feel more connected. Jeff, so reorg week, upper class are moving into the barracks. They will welcome the plebes today, and everyone shuffles. So I think your kid was F1. That means your cadet will move to 1st Regiment, the 1, and be in F Company. Yeah, so my kid was F1. So let me see here what Jeff is saying. That means your cadet will move to 1st Regiment and be in F Company. And I think I've already forgotten the name of the barrack. The barracks. The barrack. Wherever he's staying. It's the, I think the relatively new one that they just christened a few years ago. Like my wife was saying, I think he has to walk up like 8 flights of stairs or something. I'm like, okay. He'll stay in shape. He'll stay in shape. So, So F Company exists in 1st Regiment and will be a mix of upper class and plebes. Your son will be introduced to the F Company upper class. Sweet. Yeah. Jeff, as soon as I get done here, I'm going to go upstairs and see if my wife is done with her meeting and see if she watched. And then I'm going to say, hey, there's a whole slew of parents that watch with me and this Jeff guy that puts me to shame. Oh, man. This was cool. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends of cadets and plebes. Are they plebes all the way through this first year? Or are they plebes prior? Like, I've been referring to them as cadets. And then a few times I said plebes, and I'm like, I mean, are they plebes yet? And then learning like, okay, and then people would say when I was watching some videos, you got like cows and firsties, and then I'm thinking, oh, well, firsties sound like something he is. And then my wife's like, no, firsties, because she's on her mom boards. Firsties are like the seniors or something. I'm like, well, firsties sound like it's your first year. Plebes equal freshmen all year. There you go. Well, Jeff and all of my other parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, you guys have done a good job. You guys have done a good job raising these kids. Sandra, leaving for West Point Friday. Can't wait to see the parade. Thanks for your podcast. As the daughter of a Marine, I'm trying to adjust to the Army, and I'm so proud. That is awesome. And have a safe trip, Sandra. Who knows? You know, we may, when we're walking around looking lost or something, we may cross paths and not know that we were hanging out watching March Back on YouTube. Again, I'll post it's extra content from what I usually post for the Tossing Salad podcast here on YouTube. This is where all of the video clips, the longer form ones, also kind of reside, and then I do the short form stuff over on Instagram and TikTok. It's all kind of just pop culture type stuff that I find interesting. And look, my thing is always to have a good time for fun, always with the intent of a good time and having fun. The last podcast we just did that I just posted last night talking about getting back into record collecting. Then do people call it records or vinyl pieces, and how some of the old heads like me that have been into it for so long, they get so like, oh, I hate the kids that are calling it vinyl or something. I was like, I mean, if they like to call it whatever, who cares? So that's the type of content I call it. For the Tossing Salad podcast, it's kind of a vegetable medley of content for fun. And I come from a gardening background, so that's where the Tossing Salad comes from. So if you're just into gardening, maybe there's some parents here, grandparents, that you guys are heavily into gardening. I am the Garden Voyeur, also on Instagram and TikTok. And that is all 100% gardening. Well, 99% gardening content on that account. 1% kind of DIY and cooking stuff. Again, everything's fun. So let's wrap this up. Let me catch up on the comments here, and then I'm going to let you all go. So Sandra, I have a safe trip. Jeff, plebe is 4th class. First or is first class. Seniors are firsties, freshmen are plebes. John Sullivan just dropped off our yearling, or yuck, last night. Good luck, class of 2027. Thank you, and good luck to you guys. So a yuck, a yearling, is that the second year? I got to brush up. If I run into any of you guys when I'm up at West Point and you guys start throwing lingo around, I'm going to look silly quick. Jeff saying, if you are F1, you want to sit on the far left on A day. Regiments are 1 through 4 left to right. So far left. Okay, Jeff. I don't want to forget that. I'm going to tell my wife. Jeff said we want to sit on the far left. Nancy Caparelli, proud mom of a West Point cadet D2. Thank you for keeping us in the loop. Well, thank you for hanging out and having fun. Heather, thank you for this podcast. It was great, especially since the feed was so behind. We'll arrive there Friday from Oregon. Driving or flying? John Sullivan, a yearling is a sophomore. Okay. Plebes, first year. Yearling is your second year, so that's sophomore. The cows are the junior year. And then what did we say? The seniors are the firsties, right? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. This was cool. Okay, guys. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you guys again. I'm really bad with names, so if I see you again on another live or something, just act like we know each other, and then help get my mind refreshed that we've kind of talked on West Point stuff before or whatever. I'm really bad at that stuff. And then bear with me if we run into each other at West Point this weekend. We've got a nice little, I think it's a newer Airbnb close to campus that we're looking forward to just kind of hanging out. I think we're going to go as soon as he lets us know what he wants to eat. My wife's going to fix him everything that he wants, and he's going to get babied for a little bit, which is fine. And then him and his brother can argue and fight over Messi, Ronaldo, soccer, or whatever they fight about. And we'll be a family of 4 for like 12 hours. So, that was cool. All right, you guys take care, and we'll see you on the next one.